JJ the CPA, I'm not returning my PPP. And it's not even because I'm trying to be some rebel. I understand that there are those right now that are concerned. Today is May 10th, and it's just minutes before it becomes May 11th of 2020. So if you're watching this video, please take note that this is the date that it applies to based on the information that we have at hand. I've put some links into this video, the body of it related to some articles, and as well as the SBA final interim rule related to this. But my understanding is that the SBA is now wanting even what they call privately owned businesses. So these are not the large businesses. And I know we have question 31 and 39. We have all these other things. You can see that on my website. I've got the SBA guidelines there, and in the body of this, I have a link to what the SBA came out with last. So the thing to note here is that at the time that I got the loan, right, I met all the qualifications. I did and am using it to retain workers. I had no workers that went on unemployment. So I have a video where I've said if you're just sending your workers on unemployment and you're not letting them, you're not paying them for PPP, that you got a problem. I'm using it properly. So none of my clients have sent their employees on PUA or unemployment. So I'm using it properly. I'm only using it for payroll and rent and utilities and the benefits that are allowed. And then I know that question 31 is addressing large companies, but then there's another question and there's another question and there's another interim. So go read it. But basically what is to be looked at now is what was in essence your liquidity when you got the PPP, and could you get loans elsewhere? Okay, there's other fancy language that they're using, but let's just boil it down to that. So does that mean that if you have money in another business? Does that mean if you have money personally? Does that mean if you have money in retirement? Does that mean that if I have enough money to cover the next 3 days? Does that mean that I have enough in the bank to cover the next 30 days? Does it mean if I have enough in the bank to cover the next 90 days, the next 6 months? There's been no parameter given. I mean, this is what I said in other emails, which makes it so unfair and seems subjective. There's no formula that's been given. So when I'm looking at how much cash I have in the bank and I'm just looking at my business, and I don't even mean it as a ha-ha and a technicality, and when I'm looking at the amount of money that I have in my bank account, and I'm looking at, okay, well, if I don't have any money coming in, and I understand I can work from home, but I've brought in no revenue in the last 5 weeks or so, hardly any. But anyways, when I am looking at how much money I had in the bank at that time, and really even just how much since or how much before and how much I normally keep, okay? So in my view, that was not enough, that if I'm having no money coming in, that's going to last me in a period of time where I feel like I don't put my business completely at risk. Meaning I took PPP funds because if I hadn't taken PPP funds, the money I had in the bank would have gone down to nothing, and it would have gone down to nothing in a time frame that I wasn't comfortable with. So you're going to have to make your own determination on that. And why do you have to make your own determination? Because they haven't given us anything to say, well, this is liquid enough, or this is what's available to you. And so if you had that, then you shouldn't have taken the PPP. Could I have gotten loans elsewhere? Maybe. I mean, do I have a line of credit? Maybe, right? I'm not going to tell you all my business. All I'm saying is that when I look at the timing, when I look at the full picture of my business, could I run out and get a loan? Maybe, but I didn't. Could I have gotten a loan? I don't know. I don't know if a bank would have approved me for a loan. I mean, I already have a line of credit, right? I already have loans, right? I already have loans. How do I know I can go get another loan? I mean, okay, so I have a credit card. Okay. So my point is that, for me and the size of business that I am, when I'm looking at the parameters for me, I feel like that even if I could have got a loan somewhere else, even if I could have used my cash, when I'm evaluating, and if anybody would go and read some other things that I put out there, I really felt like that if I didn't get the PPP funds, I would be in some very detrimental circumstances like any other small business in a very short period of time. I don't think I had enough in the business liquid to do anything that makes me feel like I incorrectly got PPP. I don't feel like, based on the fact of already the loans I had existing, regardless of what I had available in my line of credit, that I needed to go and get any additional credit. Okay. Now, my business is separate from me. So if you're self-employed, okay, it's not separate from you. So at the end of the day, I made my own determination after I saw this additional information. And the reason I'm telling you that is that I've looked at it. I still feel that I qualify for it. I'm not returning my PPP money. I'm not even doing it. I'm doing it with zero anger, emotion, screw you. I'm keeping it. Okay. So for you out there that are trying to do your own evaluation of that, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. There's some articles talking about it. The SBA's come in. It's clearly really for any size business and self-employed. I've already discussed that. So this is why I'm keeping mine. I feel like in very good conscience. First of all, I did it and I'm doing it the way that it was directed. So I do have videos out there where I say, if you're not using it for payroll, if you're sending people on PUA, if you got it based on 1099, you got it based incorrectly. So I got it based on wages for the correct period, no more, no less. I haven't hired new employees. I haven't let any employees go. I've maintained the same payroll for myself and my employees. I've maintained the same rent and utilities and the interest that's going to be on my loans. So I've done everything the way that it was meant to be. And I'm still in my PPP time period, but I'm using it every way that it's to be. So they came out with this additional item, including for private companies. Okay. And so I've reevaluated it and I've looked at it. Okay. And I've looked at my balance sheet. I've looked at my balance sheet now. I looked at my cash then. I've looked at my cash now. I've looked at my billings then. I've looked at my billings now. I looked at what I've done in the difference. So even though I don't feel like the SBA is even saying to evaluate where you are right now, I did. And I evaluated it there. So for me and in my planning, and then all the other things that are in my world, right? The other personal things that I have, the other things that are going on in my world, I'm taking all that into consideration. And I needed the PPP funds. Needed them. That's why I got them. I'm using it exactly as we are supposed to use them. Quite frankly, I haven't even done a calculation to figure out how much will be left over and how, here's the money I got, I'm going to use it. And at the end, it's like, okay, well, where does it come out? And if I've got some left over, I'm going to pay it back. I haven't even done the calculation myself because I don't care. I don't care. How much is it going to be forgiven? I don't care. I needed the money. I'm using it for what it's supposed to be. And at the end, when the calculation can be done and everything has been spent and used and all the things that go into that, then I'll know what the number is. And then I'll either write a check or I'll go, well, okay, I did use it all. Okay. So anyways, I'm not returning the money, even based on the newest that has come out. And when I say the newest that's come out, take a look at what's in the body. And I feel really good conscious about it. I don't think that a company needed to have then shown when they would have hit bankruptcy or an analysis. And then I've, talked with two bankers on Friday related to this, and they both said, this is so subjective. But I've had a few subscribers that have indicated, that they've already gotten emails from their banks. And the only reason I'm chuckling is wow, these banks are moving fast. Subscribers have sent me emails where the bank has said, hey, we're not going to be reevaluating based on if you could have got a loan, but we want you to reevaluate if you got these PPP funds, if you should have got them because of your liquidity. So anyways, reevaluate it. And at the end of the day, that's all I'm trying to get out there, is that there's these new provisions. And as I'm understanding it, if we've, including private companies, are not to, if we conclude that we should not have the money, then you're supposed to pay it back on or before May 14th. Is there more SBA guidance to come out? Probably. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, SBA stuff's coming out every other day, every 3 days, every 4 days. So anyways, based on the date of this posting, based on what's been out there, I'm not returning my PPP. So anyways, I had a number of you ask, so thought I would share. All right. Hey, thanks so much. I'd love it if you subscribe. And then I'm going to note to you, I have a lot of other videos besides this PPP. I've got a morning video that's kind of a motivational. I've got a weekly that's just talking about numbers, has nothing to do with PPP. I've got a weekly that kind of goes in depth on tax. And then I've got at least 12 playlists just talking about taxes and insurance and banking and reality show, tax credits, the CARES Act that doesn't have anything to do with PPP. So check out my other playlists if you're tired of hearing about PPP. And hopefully everybody's going to have a good week. And I'll see you all on my live show, 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I appreciate everybody. Have a good night. JJ the CPA out.